everyone! Today we are going to talk about how to make bird feeders. It is coming up on winter time, and even though we live in sunny California, zone 9, where it doesn't snow and barely rains, we still need to be feeding our birds in the winter. This garden, the Seven Circles Garden, hosts tons of birds, especially throughout spring, summer, and fall. In winter time, we still have lots of birds, but our food supply in the garden goes down, even though we have lots of slugs. So every year we like to try and make some bird feeders. And this year I wanted to find a way to make a bird feeder that would last through a couple of uses and maybe even last until next year. So the first thing we are going to be using for a bird feeder, and my associate Cricket is chewing on some of them, are pine cones. So we've got lots of conifers around us, and I just went on a collecting spree this morning, grabbed buckets and buckets full of pine cones. I was trying to be a little bit more picky when picking them, in that they needed to be pretty clean. I didn't care what they looked like because they'll all work as long as they've got a butt, but I needed them not to have tons of mycelium on them. So we have had a couple of storms here, and so the ground is actually pretty damp, which is great, but that does mean that we've got mycelium kind of running wild. So I picked out the ones that looked the cleanest for the birds, and what we're going to be doing is coating the bottom in some form of seed or nut butter. So I've got some sunflower seed butter, and the reason why I chose sunflower seed butter rather than things like almond butter or peanut butter for two reasons. One, I am a teacher. I have students that have allergies, so I think we only have one student allergic to sunflower seeds, and that student just won't participate in this portion of the bird feeder making. But most of the time people are not allergic to sunflower seeds. The second reason why I chose sun butter is because birds, especially in this area, are not going out and chomping on peanuts and chomping on almonds. They're chomping on sunflowers. We have grown tons of big, Titan sunflowers in the area, and the birds are all over them. So I chose something that would be more in their diet. What you're gonna do is coat the bottom of your pine cone in sunflower butter, or if you don't have access to that, you can use other stuff. And then you're going to roll it in bird seed. Once you're done with that, you are going to take some either wire or string, wrap it around it a couple times, really get in those grooves, and then make a loop. And you can either hang it on a fence, hang it on the trees. Because it is December here, we are going to be kind of decorating the week before the holidays with the students. So we're going to decorate some trees and kind of hang these as little bird feeder ornaments and put them along our fence line, which I think is going to be pretty cute. If you hear some crazy noises or some barking, it's my associate here, Cricket. She's chewing on pine cones and very concerned about the squirrels, so just know that she is taking very good care of us and these pine cones. All right, so that's number one. The second thing is, this one can be made in a couple different ways, but we had leftover galvanized steel wire from a project over the summer, and so I was going to use this for, again, a couple of reasons. One, because we already had it, and two, because I have 187 students that I teach weekly, and I can't have that many needles going at once. So we are going to be using steel wire for this. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to take either your wire, or if you put a needle on thread, and you're going to be creating a garland of some sort. Now, because we have wire, we're going to be able to make it into different shapes. We're probably going to have each student make like an ornament of this next kind of bird feeder rather than a garland. But if you're doing it with a needle and thread, of course, it's going to be more flexible. You can make a garland. I picked up some plain Cheerios, basically, or Joe's O's. These don't have the honey on them. They don't really have anything on them. They're oats, corn, and wheat. So these are great. The kids are going to be able to easily poke the wire through the holes. And then I also picked up some unpopped popcorn. We are going to be air popping this, no oil, and then leaving it for a couple of days so that it kind of stales up and gets a little bit harder. And then the kids will be able to poke the wire, or you guys could poke the needle through the popcorn and make some pretty cute little ornaments. The kids are going to be able to choose whatever shape, you know, if they want to do a heart or figure out how to get it into a star form. It's totally up to them. We've done this in the past with beads, and the kids are like, this is so fun to decorate the trees. So this year we're just going to do it with a little bit more purpose behind it, right? We're feeding the birds. In a moment here, I am going to show you the kind of final product of what the kids have made. I am filming this before they've done so that I can show you the ingredients before they disappear. And so like I said, we're going to be having all of the kindergarten through 5th grade making these. So the garden is going to be covered in it, and it's going to kind of look all, you know, holiday spirit-y throughout the garden, and then we're going to head off to winter break. So when we come back, hopefully they'll all be empty of birdseed, empty of the Jozos, and empty of popcorn, and then we'll work on making them again. One of the things I really liked about using the steel wire and the pine cones specifically is that we can reuse them year to year or reuse them batch to batch. And what I mean by this is that if all the popcorn and the Cheerios are eaten off, we can easily just recycle the wire and either use it for a different project or use it for the same project and just remake it, basically. We also can reuse the pine cones because the pine cones are just going to have probably a little bit of oil on the bottom, as is from seed and nut butters, and we could easily store these another year, either in big bins or just probably underneath a tarp, honestly, because these guys don't break down pretty quickly. So we could use them year after year. In the past, we have used toilet paper rolls. Rolling away. Toilet paper rolls in the past, but those tend to kind of get really oily and really gross after one use. And another thing I just thought of, another reason why we want to be using something a little bit more sturdy is that the birds can actually put their weight on this. They can actually hang and, you know, get their little toes in these grooves to hold on. Whereas the toilet paper rolls are great, they just aren't as substantial for the birds to be hanging on.
Yeah.
They're so
Maddie, you want to
cute.
put it on, or
Right.
you want me to put it on?
You can put it on.
Okay, so look at that. We're gonna adjust the bottom,
How old
right?
are they?
The quail are like 4 to 6 weeks.
Are they? When everyone's done, are we going in the quail
Sure.
coop?
Wait, can you get more birdseed on that face? Beautiful. All right, go hang it in a
Wait,
tree.
wait, Mom.
Yeah.
I think I just saw her with blue blossoms.